Hey guys, I'm Ariana. If you're new here, if you're not, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get this beautiful gold halo holiday eyeshadow look. Okay, we're going for drama today. I decided that I wanted to not be natural and do something a little bit dramatic, but still really easy. So this is what I came up with. This is what I usually do when I want to not use liner and also be a little bit dramatic, add some like darker shades. Okay, so the first thing I did was take my Makeup Revolution Super Base eyeshadow base. So I haven't really used this before on my entire lid as an eyeshadow base. I have used it before to kind of cut my crease, but this is my first time using it as like an entire lid eyeshadow base. So I mean it was okay, but I usually use concealer as an entire lid eyeshadow base. I did put primer on my eyes when I did my entire face, and then I mean there's a little concealer on there, but this is basically just a base to kind of make the colors pop a little bit more and also just like increase the longevity of the eyeshadow, make sure that it stays in place. And I also am going to be going in with glitter today too, so I kind of wanted something that would really prime my lid and, you know, have like a good base going on. So this is the palette that I use for this look. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy palette, and I used a couple shades from this. I feel like these shades are pretty generic. You find this on any palette you may have. I used these two dark brown and black shades. Then I went in with these transition shades, which are kind of like orangey, and then that was the gold glitter shade I used, which is kind of like a dark glitter shade. So I feel like you can find these shades in maybe like any generic palette that you have. So if you don't have this palette, that's totally fine. These shades are really like more on the natural side, but I did kind of go in with like a darker version of natural shades just to make it a little bit more dramatic. So what I'm doing right now is I'm packing on the darker shades. I kind of mix that dark brown with the black, and I am just kind of packing it on the inner and outer corners of my eyes while kind of consciously keeping this little V shape open on the center of my eye. So we're kind of like working with the negative space. So I am just packing on the shade, making it as dark as possible and making sure that there is a V in the center of my lid, which we're going to add the glitter in later. This is kind of like a really interesting lazy halo type of look, and I feel like it looks super cute. So after I packed on the darkest shades on both corners, I am now kind of buffing out the edges of those dark shades just to make it easier to kind of blend in the next couple shades I'm going to be blending in with. I like to do this because it just makes blending shadows together so much easier. So what I do is basically pack on the dark shade in the darkest place where I need it to be, which is the inner and outer corner, and then I buff out the edges where I'm about to place the next transition shade. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I also like to use this brush that I'm using right now, which is a shader brush. I like to use smaller kind of dense brushes, but they're still like a little bit fluffy, but they are still pretty small to go ahead and do this with, because it's just allows me to have so much more control than if I were using a big fluffy blending brush and a blending brush that was round. So I like to use flat, dense, smaller shader brushes to go ahead and blend with. I'm also blending out the outer corner into kind of like an outer wing situation. I do this in all of my looks. I just feel like it really elongates the eyes really nicely. And that is a shape of my eyeshadow looks that I like to go for often. So after I finished blending out and buffing out those edges, I went in with the transition shade, which is that kind of like orangish, brownish transition shade from the Amrezy palette. And I'm just kind of buffing that into the buffed out areas of the darker shade that I blended out. This is just going to create a really nice gradient going from really dark to really light. So I definitely suggest adding this transition shade, and that's basically it for the matte shades. Next I'm going in with this really pretty gold pressed glitter shade from the Amrezy palette. This shade is pretty cute. It's kind of like a bronze, like a darker bronzy gold shade. It's like a really darker. It's like a dark gold shade and it's a pressed glitter. So I'm just applying this on the outer V, and I'm still kind of trying to keep that negative space of that V going on in the center of the lid, because I'm going to apply the lightest gold shimmer shade there as well. So basically I'm just trying to create the illusion that there's a beautiful beam of light coming from the center of my eyes, and then the outer corners are contrasting it by being really, really dark. That's the concept. The lightest gold shade that I'm using is from the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette in this shade Gold Glitch right here. I didn't, like, I wish I had a lighter gold glitter shade, like a glitter, like a pressed glitter shade, but I didn't, so I had to go in with a shimmer shade, which I feel like this didn't really look like, it didn't really, it worked, but you know, it could have been better if I had a pressed glitter that was a lighter shade than that Amrezy gold shade. That would have been amazing. But if you don't have any pressed glitters, I suggest using like a darker bronze shade for the outer V, and then a really light gold champagne shade for the inner V. That would be really nice. I just feel like the glitters in the pressed glitter shade from the Amrezy palette kind of got all over the place and meshed together with that lighter shimmer shade. So I don't know, I was just using what I had. So that was basically it for all of the eyeshadow on the lids. I then went ahead and kind of cleaned up the outer corners. I love to do this. I do this like every single time I do my eyeshadow. This just makes sure that both of the eyes are symmetrical, going in the same direction, and it just makes everything look so much cleaner, and it also uplifts the eyes. And like I said, I like to go for that kind of outer wing thing, so this just really accentuates the eye shape. Next, I went ahead and did the lower lash line. So like I said, we're going for drama today, so I decided to smoke up my lower lash line a little bit. And I also feel like this type of lower lash line with a halo type of eyeshadow look on the lid looks super, super cute. So basically I went in with that dark brown shade, and I'm putting that on the inner and outer corners of my lower lash line, leaving a space in the center. Then I went ahead and took those two kind of like orange transition shades and kind of like buffed that out on the like outer edges, or the lower edges of that dark brown, just to kind of smoke it out and give it some dimension as well, so it's not just like one dark brown line on my lower lash line. Which is basically what transition shades are for, is just to like further smoke it out, further blend it out, and give it like a really nice depth and gradient. Then I went ahead and added that pressed glitter shade from the Amrezy palette onto the center of the lower lash line. So this is basically just a halo on the lower lash line in like a mini version. I feel like this is super, super cute because it's like a continuation of the halo from the upper lid to the lower lid, and it's just really interesting to look at. I also added some black liner on the inner and outer corners of my waterline, leaving the center bare, leaving it open, just to kind of continue that illusion that there's a kind of beam of light going on the center of my eyes. So this is basically it. I then went ahead and added some mascara. If you are not a false lash person, I will show you what this looks like without false lashes. This is what this looks like without false lashes. I feel like if you are going for a dramatic look like this, I mean, the false lashes will just bring everything together, but this is super beautiful, and I love the way that the colors just make my eyes pop. So if you have brown eyes, this color palette, these these colors look really, really good with brown eyes. So this is the finished look. I really, really like how it came out. I mean, I am a fan. I wish I had like different pigments, different glitters to use, but yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up as well. It really helps me out. If you have any other video suggestions, let me know. Have a great holiday season. Okay, more holiday looks are coming, so don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.